Do that. Okay. Welcome to today's session. Welcome. All right. So last week we didn't meet, and I wanted to make sure that I gave y'all a very quick intro to the week, not to brag on what we did, but mostly to talk about the fact that we can go on vacation, we can enjoy nice things, do nice things, and still honor our body. Um, So I wanted to share very quickly the intentionality that I took, and then as a result, Christina took, because she made a choice as well to honor our bodies while we were on this trip. So before we headed on the cruise last week, I had said, and I told Sean, I was like, I am determined. I am not going to get home from this cruise 10 pounds heavier than I started. And normally, traditionally, um, cruises are known for being like a binge fest, gorging yourself, overeating. And in my enlightenment of how I can serve my body and how worshiping the Lord through what I eat is so important to me, I did not want myself to mismanage this temple that I've been working hard on for the sake of enjoyment or letting loose. Because for me, it becomes more of a burden on the other side than it is just um, having a good time. But one of the most important things for me is that I understood the fact that, okay, I am going onto a cruise. This is going to be a little bit different. I can loosen some standards while still holding myself to a standard. And so I love that we were able to do exactly that. So by the end of the trip, Christina holding her sugar drink, sugar coffee drink. By the end of the trip, I had lost 3 pounds, and Christina, she decided, she said several times, I'm just gonna follow you around and do whatever you do. She ended up losing 4 pounds on this trip. So I want to talk about how did we do it? How did we go on a cruise where most people get home 10 pounds heavier? How did we get come home lighter than when we started? Because these are those little, and granted, when you go on vacation, you don't always get like buffet, right? Sometimes it's just a pit stop. You just stop where you can, eat what you can, do what you can because you're on the road and you're like, so a few of the things that I want to talk about, well, let me get to the next slide and then I'll dive deeper into like some of the choices that we made. So first, we took the stairs. Every time, so the cruise had 14 decks, and we made a choice that we said every time we have to go downstairs, gravity's on our side, we are going to take the stairs and not the elevator. Just that simple action in itself of saying we are going to incorporate as much movement as possible in our day to day added that extra fuel burning, especially when it came to after meals. But so just as simple as we didn't go to the gym, we didn't lift weights. It was, we're going to take the stairs every time we have to go down. Super easy. And it didn't feel hard, right, Christina? Like, no, it didn't feel hard. Like, it's just, we're going down the stairs. Especially, there are people waiting on the elevator to go down like 2 flights. I'm like, it's right there. Let's just go. Let's just go down the stairs. That last day, I carried my suitcase down the stairs, and Christina laughed her head off at me because she said I looked really funny, dragging my suitcase down the stairs and wearing a hat and trying to. Anyway, we went downstairs. We prioritized protein at every meal. Before anything else, we made sure over half of our plate was protein. We wanted, oh my goodness, my hat. Thank you, Solomon. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yes, this is the hat I wore while I carried my suitcase down the stairs. For details. Thanks, buddy. All right. So we made sure over half our plate was protein. If we wanted anything extra, any carbs. We saved the carbs for the last part of our meal. So we had protein, we had fruits and veggies, and then we if we wanted any carbs that was there, but we just saved it for last. And usually what ended up happening was we ate less like breads and or anything, or we didn't eat it at all because we were satisfied with what we started the meal with. And this part, I will say, I was not picky on what the protein was. I didn't look at the quality of the steak. I just, is this grass fed? Is it? No, it's just, this is protein. I'm gonna eat it. And is it, I didn't look to see, I didn't ask about seed oils or anything. I just said, okay, at the beginning, I just need protein. That's as far as I go. I'm on a cruise. I can't be, if I end up inflamed, so be it. I just need protein. But again, we didn't feel deprived. I didn't feel deprived by what I chose to eat because I had a beautiful big salad that felt very satisfying. We made our own dressing by putting olive oil, balsamic vinaigrette, salt, and pepper. Simple, delicious. And then we had the protein, whatever, meatballs. They had these minute steak things. Um, Lots of different types of like sauces and like just many, many forms of protein. So we saved sugar for after meal. But this picture is literally in like our favorite spot on the cruise, both times we've been on this cruise. This is a little cafe, and they had like all these little coffee drinks and little pastries. And so we said, okay, probably about once a day, we go down to this little coffee shop. And we always ordered, I think for the most part, that first day we forgot to ask for decaf. But after that first day, we got decaf every time because we didn't need the extra stimulus. And if we got the pastry, again, it was after we had already enjoyed protein. Our digestive system was full of protein and fiber. So if we had sugar, it was going to be a slow spike in our blood sugar because we had already filled our body with slow burning fuel. And we also were very intentional that we did not stay sitting for long periods of time. I think that might be on the next slide. Yes. We walked after every meal. Instead of sitting around after eating, we took leisurely, we weren't sweating. We weren't doing that. We weren't the lady with the, no, we just moved our body. And it was so nice to get out, just out on the deck, and we would just walk back and forth and talk. There was one time where I hadn't had sugar in a really long time. So I think it was like that Tuesday night. We had the drink, and then we had a little pastry, and I could feel it affecting me in a way I didn't like. So literally we walked out on the deck, and I was like, I need to do some squats. And so Christine, like we kind of went to like a corner, and I did some squats to kind of draw some of that sugar just straight out of my body. My health concern is deeply linked to eating too much sugar. So I am very hyper aware of when my body feels like I'm overwhelmed with sugar. I don't say this for everybody. I don't demand this of everybody, but most of the time, our health concerns are linked to insulin resistance, which is linked to blood sugar issues. And because my health issues have been linked so deeply to blood sugar issues, I am highly aware of how much sugar I consume and how I'm supporting my body to make sure that we are getting back to balance as quickly as possible. But again, it was really nice. We had beautiful times out on the deck, breathing in the fresh air and just walking. Um, I felt like it actually added to our trip versus being something that like, no, we have to walk. It kind of felt like, hey, do you want to, let's go walk. Yeah, let's go do that. That feels like a great thing to do. And that's it. It was nothing crazy. Um, we enjoyed some sweet treats. We enjoyed some whatever we wanted. Even at that last day, we're like, you know what? We want some pizza. We had a slice of pizza, but we also had protein and produce, salads. Uh, we enjoyed. Now, I will say one of the best things to do when you're going on vacation, if you're going on vacation, is to make a deal with whoever you're going with. I feel like it would have been even harder for me to make these decisions like this if I was by myself. But because I had Christina with me, holding me accountable and knowing that she's walking with me and she's like, I'm doing what you're doing. Like, well, I don't want to lead her astray. So I'm going to be extra intentional about what I'm choosing and how I'm taking care of my body. So if you're planning a vacation and you want to enjoy yourself without feeling sluggish, remember, it just takes small intentional choices. I don't want you to go to your next vacation saying, I have to lose weight. But I would love for you to come back from your vacation feeling refreshed, feeling like you have equipped your body with a rest and with the tools that it needed to move forward on a healing journey. Because we're all on healing journeys. We're all trying to improve ourselves. So that's mostly all I had to say. Um, I'm gonna pause. I'm going to stop this screen. How do I stop this? How do I stop share? Here we go. There's so many layers to this. Goodness. Even now, it's no, I don't want to share anything. Stop it. Stop it. There we go. Gosh, that was complicated. So before I jabber on anymore, Christina, do you have anything you want to add?
Yes. So before we got to the cruise, I did tell Nelly I was going to see this as a healing retreat for me or like a health retreat. Um, I'm really trying to lose more weight and get closer to my goal. And the last time that we went on a cruise with Plexus, we went to Haiti and I had gained like 7 pounds on the trip. And I was like, oh, I am not going to do that again because my endocrinologist will kill me. And I just didn't want to feel sick. And then I didn't want to take too much caffeine or sugar because of my um, thyroid issues. I get palpitations, so I didn't want to add to that. But yeah, I followed Nelly around. I was like, "What? Oh, she's getting protein. I'm gonna do that. Oh, she's getting a salad. Oh, I'm gonna do that." But it was really good because when I got home, I texted her. I'm like, I lost 4 pounds. How did you do that? But we got to enjoy our iced lattes at the end of the night and decaf, or else we would have stayed awake. But yeah, it was really nice. It didn't feel like we were dieting and exercising. It just felt like, oh, we're just eating protein. And um, I will say that at first it was hard for me because I'm a carb person. Like I do like to eat croissants and pastries and stuff, but I started saving that until the end of the night. So, because I knew that after dinner we were going to go to the cafe and eat a pastry and have one of our drinks. Um, but even after eating like breakfast, I started saving the croissant till the end, and then I would end up not eating it just because I didn't need it. I was full. So just like the little choices that I made throughout the week, by like the end of the week, I was like, oh, I guess I don't need that anymore. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's one of the things we're trying to really be intentional about. We call it the 80-20 rule of 80% of the time you want to eat um protein, nutrient rich, nutrient dense foods. Our body needs that. Our body desperately needs that. But 20% of the time, let's enjoy. And for us, the 20% ended up being like daily, 20% of the day, versus I would say let it be 20% of your week. Let most of your week be healthy, whole food, protein. And then maybe once a week, you go out, you don't want to limit. But um, when we were on this, I told Christina it felt like with this mind shift, because we weren't going on the cruise to gorge ourselves or to partake in the gluttony. It was like we were satisfied with larger stretches of just, are you hungry? Yeah. And just watching, like by nature, we were kind of on a clockwork of like breakfast by 8, lunch at noon, dinner by 5, and we're done. And I think for sure by like 7, the latest, we had stopped eating. We weren't doing anything in it, and we were okay to go through. At no point. I know at no point did I feel like I had to eat past 7 o'clock. And I remember one night Christina was like, well, if I'm hungry, I'll eat an apple. And she never went, never got an apple. So it's just those little things, especially when you can, women, women, we get so in our heads about eating protein. And like, and so when we grab our protein, it's like this dainty little portion of protein. Oh, I'm just gonna get this little, and then we're hungry. Go figure. You need to cover your half your plate needs to be meat. Just cover your half your plate. And then if you don't finish it, you don't finish it. But in doing that, it's very satisfying. And you're able to go a normal amount of time without eating, picking here and there. When I make eggs in the morning, I eat 4 eggs. Four. Sean's working on eating 6. Look, he's getting there. But like he eats about 5 to 6 eggs in the morning. And that keeps your body satisfied. That gives your body that boost of what it needs to um, get all the machinery going. Skipping breakfast is probably one of the worst things you can do for yourself. Now, I find myself delaying breakfast a bit because I got kids and they're crazy and they're always asking for stuff. But like to intentionally skip breakfast is harmful to your body that is needing that fuel for the entire day. If there's a meal to skip, skip dinner. You're getting to the end of your night, you're wrapping up, your melatonin's going to start being kicked in as your body prepares to go to sleep. If there's a meal to skip, skip dinner. If you want steak, eat it for breakfast. It's okay. There's no rules as far as breakfast food and dinner foods. There really is no rule against that. Eat whatever you want. Just eat meat. You want a slab of steak for breakfast? Do it. If you want scrambled eggs for dinner, do it. Just eat protein. Okay, so that's pretty much my rant for today. That was I next week I'm gonna jump right back into how we were doing of understanding ingredients, kind of watching for those cues of how the food industry may try to convince us to eat their products. Um, I even had a conversation the other day. So I posted a reel the other day and I was debating about talking about it today, but I just said on this about cheese and how 90% of cheese is produced with a synthetic rennet. Rennet is a group of enzymes used to make cheese. Well, cheese has been in the United States, 90% of it has been made with a synthetic rennet produced by Pfizer, which is a pharmaceutical company. So back in 1990, they patented the very first bioengineered food ingredient. And now and I get curious about the fact that people are deeply addicted to cheese. And I wonder, does that have something to do with it? Because their bioengineered cheese only has one piece of a link of several enzymes. And I always wonder. But anyway, I don't want to jump on that too much. I appreciate y'all being on this call with me. Does anyone have any questions real quick? I'll leave it and then I'll close this out if we don't. No, Kelly, you're like, nah, I'm over it. Okay, good. I'm gonna pray us out and I hope y'all have a good night. Father God, I thank you for this group of ladies that have committed to serving you with their body and worshiping you through the choices they make with their bodies. Lord, I ask that you give us the wisdom and the willpower, even when we're on vacation, to always know that we can honor you with our choices, that there is always grace and there is willpower to make the choices that honor you. I thank you so much. And we thank you for your goodness and your grace. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. Thank y'all. I hope you have a good night.